Hello, 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 and welcome back to some Domberger Tarot today again with your host Carmilla, and we have our week ahead reading for you today. So I'm really excited. I have a lot of changes coming through for Domberger Tarot, and I also have some name changes and stuff happening as well. Rebranding, a lot going on, just a different style that I want to introduce that is more me and less me hiding behind, Don Bringer Tarot and things like that. So I'm excited to introduce that. I am working on getting a introduction video produced for that for the next coming week so that we can introduce these changes in a real way. So I do apologize for the audio today. I'm still trying to figure out, I have a new camera, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get my um, lavalier mic to work properly with this camera. So hopefully I'll get that figured out pretty soon. But today I am using the mic on the camera, plus the heater's going on in the back, so you will hear that heater sound. So I probably won't put music over this video. It's kind of annoying, but it's cold in here and I'd rather be warm, so there's that. So for today, week ahead reading, per usual, we have the power animals, some oracle cards, some tarot to get into what we got going on this week. And the week ahead readings are less about like predictions that I'm noticing, and they're more about the energy that you're working with this week, energy that's coming through for clearance, energy that's coming up for review, anything that you need in your human experience and your growth, your overall growth as a person and as a spirit. So I'm really excited about these energies today. So before we get into the piles, of course, I do want to get into our collective message, because I feel like the collective message does have a lot of backing or messaging that helps to really hone in on the messages of the general readings that we have with 4 piles. So our collective message for this week is really talking about like reminding yourself that your growth is going to take time, and it is safe to take everything one step at a time. You don't have to force yourself in a predicament, to in certain predicaments, in order to grow, in order to get to where you're going, in order to get what you need. It's really, really important to hone in on that and remember that. Stop trying to bully yourself into certain positions or a certain type of positioning that you want in your life, but rather think about the person that you're becoming and think about the person that you want to become, right? And then you slowly, over time, introduce those new habits, those new layers of healthy, discipline or healthy conditioning, not some form of conditioning that is bullying or that is oppressive and things like that. There are healthy levels of conditioning. It's called healthy self-discipline, self-love, self-care. Those are also types of conditioning. And conditioning helps drive our human, our human posturing, right? Our human drive. So it's important to reframe the way we, and this is for me too, that we see conditioning in our awareness, the way that we interact with conditioning, because there's healthy conditioning and then there's unhealthy, which is basically discipline. Conditioning is a form of discipline. So I just wanted to make sure that was understood, so that we could move through conditioning that no longer serves, and move into habits, behaviors, and things like that that actually serve you and that are beneficial to you as a person, that feel good, but also that make you feel empowered and like you have power and that you're in control of the things that you actually can control in your life. So that is our collective message. And I say that primarily because of the cards that we have. So I do want to show those off. For our Whispers of the Ocean card, we did get, sorry about the lighting, it's a little dark. We got Every Step Counts with There is an Advantage in Taking Things Slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. So we have that. And then from our Dawnbringer intuitive team, we have the Two of Pentacles with I Need to Say, I am capable of managing my time, space, and energy. Very, very important when you're working with, self-discipline, growing, any type of like conditioning and things like that, it's really important to know that you are the one who is responsible for managing your time, your space, your energy, checking in with your boundaries and things like that. So the chakra that we have coming through to help soothe some of this conditioning work that we're doing is grace. Of course it's grace. And go ahead and pause the video for a second so you can read through that. I hope you can see it. It's a little blurry, but I think you can see it. I really want to read this part here. I am open to receive grace, and I trust in a higher power. I am worthy. Exactly. And then our Archangel message, we got life review. So that's Archangel Jeremiah with take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is unbalanced. So again, just going back to that collective message of figuring out what habits and changes that we need to make in our own lives so that we feel more aligned with the person that we say we are inside. You know what I'm saying? The person that we know ourselves to be, the person that we want to be, but we have so much fear and doubt and all these other things around it that it's hard to really obtain or hold on to who that person is. So I hope you can still hear me. I really hope that the mic is still picking all this up. It might sound like it's drifting in and out because I'm turning in order to pick up the cards, but with our power animal of the week, we actually got a special message. So the special message we have is porcupine in reverse. So what this is saying is a lot of times the porcupine energy talks about innocence, but this is a message of mercy. And it's interesting because I picked up on this in a meditation, my morning meditation, and I was like, oh yeah, that is exactly what mercy is. So what porcupine in reverse is introducing is mercy as the deepest form of compassion, mercy for your own self, mercy for every single bad thing you've ever done, mercy for what you would consider a bad person or a bad deed or something that is bad. This is mercy not in the sense of the person or the thing or whatever shouldn't take responsibility. Correct. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is mercy as an understanding, mercy as an understanding that they are playing, or human beings we're all playing out roles in each other's lives. We're all helping with this collective like cleansing and clearing and evolution. So it's really, really difficult sometimes to feel compassionate or to want to understand or to feel mercy and things like that. But what Porcupine is really introducing is starting with a deep sense of mercy for yourself, granting yourself some mercy, take the baddest thing, quote unquote, the baddest thing you've ever done in your life. And besides hating yourself for it and succumbing to the guilt binding, try introducing love into that space. Practice that should be something that you could practice daily, or even weekly. Just sit down for 5 minutes and envision, as much as you can take. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, but envision, go back into a memory and think about the baddest thing you've done or something that was really off-putting or upsetting to you, and offer love there instead of hate, instead of grief, instead of guilt. Even though those things will come up and they have every right to come up, offer love there at the end. Love yourself regardless, because this deep sense of mercy is an unconditional sense of love. So that is what we're tapping into with this energy of the porcupine in reverse. So it's a really, really strong energy. It's very confronting and it's very challenging. So pace yourself with that type of energy, because it's not easy. It's not easy because because of the way that we exist as human beings, we all have this desire to be the victim. We all have this desire to be the hero and to make others the villain, so that we can go against. We create these lines of hierarchy and separation, and we all do it. But what we're doing with this form of evolution, in which has been introduced to us, we are coming out of those thought patterns. that level of operation has run its course, and we're rising to a new level of operation, which means there are new policies, new rules, and this is what that energy is introducing. And I feel that very, very strongly. You don't have to agree, but I know that in my own self, and the way that I'm seeing the world and the people around me, I'm seeing that energy flow throughout, and it's very beautiful energy actually. So yeah. Excuse me. So we're going to be using the New Visions Tarot again today because it's happy. It wants to be out. It wants to be used. It's the only one that's really, really yelling at me. It has been for some weeks since I've got it, so I'm really, really excited about this reading. So that is it for the collective message. Let's get into the general readings. So for today, we have our 4 piles per usual, and we have stones associated with them to make it a little bit easier to pick. So we have our red generator stone for you today on pile 1, or for group 1. And then for group 2, we have our leopard jasper, one of my faves. You can see it. Very cool stone, actually, like really cool. And then my nails are dry. Cuticle oil is not saving me. It's just too cold for them. And then we have our fool's gold, or our piece of pyrite for group 3. Maybe we can actually like see it. There you go. So pretty. And then we have our African turquoise for pile 4. So, do whatever little fun witchy thing you need to do in order to get into the mood for your reading, and I, my soul kin, will see you there. Hello, hello, group 1, for all of our friends who chose the red generator stone. This will be your week ahead reading. So I need to stop calling them week ahead readings as if there's some prediction. The sage smoke. I needed it. They're more like just the energies that are coming in that you can work with this week for your soul growth, or anything that's coming up in the physical, emotional, material, whatever it is. So we have our New Visions Tarot today to work with that energy for any type of confirmation. We also have our oracle cards for the same, but typically we get all that we need from the power animal. So let's check out who you have this week. Oh, so this week you have Eagle. You have Eagle in reverse. So let's tap into Eagle's energy and see what it is saying. Okay. So, Eagle in reverse is saying to you, group 1, is that it's important for you to not lose faith in Great Spirit, not like Eagle's asking you to have a little more resolve. Just because if Spirit is giving you a message and saying, hey, like this is the right way, here's a confirmation, like it's okay. Like, whatever you have going on is okay. Whatever, you're experiencing is part of your experience. Whatever is meant for you is going to find you. You don't have to worry so much about it. Spirit is saying to just take some time to really, really resonate with what it is that you're receiving. Like, don't treat Spirit as some type of joke, or not necessarily like a joke, but as if you're not receiving, because you are. Like, I feel like, and this message is totally for me too, but it seems like for group 1, oh, it's funny because Eagle's number 1 too. There's a fear of trusting what you're receiving. And in order for you to receive what it is that you're manifesting, you're going to have to trust the unfoldment of that. And I feel like group 1, you're in a position to know better. You're in a position to know what's really going on in your energetic field. Like, I just feel like you have that intuitive sense. So what Spirit is saying, don't really allow fear and doubt and things to kind of like get in the way of what you're receiving. Now, when Spirit says that too, it's more of a fear and doubt and blah 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 blah. All those energies are really important. They're all sacred. They all have their own. They're signals. So they all have their own important placement in your life. They all have their own important alchemy that you are actually performing inside your own body. So, like, Spirit is really asking you to stand in grace. Stand in grace. Because it's really important for you to stand in grace, because you have to trust what you're receiving. Spirit keeps saying, like, in order for you to tap into what you're manifesting, what's coming into your life, you really, really have to trust what you're receiving, like through your channel, through your intuition, through your body, whatever it is. So it's like trusting what it is that you're receiving and trusting that you are receiving. That feels a lot larger here. Is actually trusting that you are receiving, because I feel like the fear is that you're not receiving. The fear is that this is all like fake, or the fear is that you can't really put your money behind it. You're afraid to put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to Spirit. And it's like Spirit is like, but I am the eggs and I am the basket. I'm the all, I'm the everything. As in, you are the all, you are the everything. Remember that you are just a portion of Spirit experiencing itself. So tap into those, those more ethereal chakras, like the 8th chakra, the 9th chakra, even going past the ones that we associate with our body, or the inside of our body. But the 8th chakra with the law of attraction, and the 9th chakra with the oversoul, and that's the understanding that you are source, you are Spirit, you are that radiant being. Spirit is asking you to remember that, to tap into that energy. Like, what you're doing for your chakras, like I see somebody getting like Reiki and stuff. What you're doing for your chakras and stuff is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. What you're doing with the healing is a beautiful thing. But what Spirit is asking you to do is to come up a little bit higher, to know yourself as source, as Spirit. And now that does not mean that you have to see yourself as this almighty supreme being that's slaying demons and whatever. You don't have to see it as that. You don't have to over exaggerate it. You can be in that space without judgment for whatever comes up, really. But remember that you are actually Spirit. Like, Spirit is not untouchable. Spirit is not this thing that is far away in the sky. Spirit is not this thing that, we don't have access to. Every single atom in this universe has access to itself, because you are Spirit. You are Spirit. All we are doing, we're reflecting, we're looking at ourselves within each other, because we are our Spirit. We all are that one thing. So Spirit is really saying to not lose that connection. Oh, that's so interesting. Like, it's like almost like the same like little stone. That's so funny. It always works out like that. But what Spirit is saying is, please don't lose that connection. Have faith in that connection that you have to your spirituality and to yourself as a spiritual being. Know that you are receiving. I keep hearing, know that you are receiving, know that you are receiving, know that you are receiving. And it's interesting that we have the eagle saying this, because the energy of the eagle is the bringing in of the eagle acts as like the messenger, or the direct link between the material plane and the spiritual plane, because we have in our humanness what we perceive as a separation from spirituality, when actually our entire lives are spirituality. Everything that we see and we sense and we touch and we taste and we hear and we say and we express and we feel, everything is spirituality. It's not just someone sitting out on the mountain meditating. It's the woman walking into the store to go buy groceries. It's the man contemplating whether or not, life is worth living. Every single thing is spirituality. Every single thing. Nothing is free of that. And it's important for you to hone in on that and know that your entire experience is spirituality. So trust the beauty that you're receiving, because what you are receiving and what you are experiencing, Group 1, you need to understand that that's what you're materializing. That's what you're grounding. That is the energy that you're pulling from the ethers, and you're bringing it down and you're rooting it into the ground. You're rooting it into this reality and into this timeline. So it's really, 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 really important for you to trust that you are receiving and what you are receiving, and that is what is in it. what is benefiting you, what is serving you, what is actually serving the collective, what is actually serving humanity, and trusting that. Really trusting that. They're like really, really honing in on, like hammering in that knowing, like they really, really want you to understand that this is about you trusting what you're receiving and that you actually are receiving. Because I feel you questioning it, and this message is just as much for me, so I don't want you to feel alone in this, because you're never alone. You know, this is just a part of your positioning and a part of what you're upgrading and what you're experiencing and what you're processing. It's a really, really beautiful, and you're going to reach your destination. You're going to reach your destiny. This is just a part of what you're processing so that you can get to know yourself a little bit better about what you are receiving and the heights that you can reach in this human body. Because a lot of us, a lot of us as humans, we're afraid to stretch our capacity, and that's what you've been doing. So it's really, really important for you to understand exactly what you're wanting and exactly what you think you should be doing. You are doing. You're stretching your capacity on an everyday, daily basis, stretching your capacity so that you can receive the whole world, so that you can receive more. So it's beautiful. A lot that you're integrating. So let's get into your cards. For some reason, these two cards at the top, actually these three cards at the top, want to come out for your reading. So let's go ahead and give them a whirl. We have, the Ten of Pentacles. Makes total sense to me. Total sense. And then we have Death, of course. And then we have the Ace of Wands. Yep. And I don't even have to shuffle. Like, for some reason, for your reading, the cards are just already there. For some reason, the cards are just already there. And then the Hermit. And the Hermit has just been bottom deck, like, this entire time. And I was going to shuffle them, and Herman was like, no, I'm meant for this reading. And it makes total sense. It makes total sense for what you're receiving. So, just to clarify what's going on with these cards is really the Ace of Wands is saying trust what you're receiving, but also trust the part of you that is undergoing this transformation. Trust that you are undergoing a transformation, because what it's doing is leading you to a legacy. The Hermit card is basically saying, like, what you're doing is creating like this supernova, or this like rising star within you that is here destined to leave a legacy. We have the Ten of Pentacles here. You're absolutely destined destined to leave a legacy. Like, you have a very important role to play in this lifetime, in this journey for us all. So it's really important for you to realize that you're here to leave a legacy. You're not really here to just they're saying, like, you're not here to like play around in the mud or something like that, but it's more like you're not here to like just play around with things that no longer matter. And when they say matter, they mean materialize. Like, you're not here to like play with things that don't necessarily warrant a rebirth, or things that don't materialize anymore. Like, the things that just aren't important, that don't really further our soul growth anymore, you're not really here to play with that. What you're here to play with is something a lot larger. So in order for you to really hone in on the energy that you're going to be playing with in this lifetime, you have to trust what you're receiving. That is definitely coming from this Hermit energy. It's just going it alone and trusting what you're receiving, because it does feel scary, and it does feel like, whoa, like this is a lot of energy. This feels different. This feels very separating from what I've been taught, or prior conditioning. But that's because you're here to build a new world. You're not here to really play with. They're like, you're not here to like be a small entity. Excuse me. You're not here to be a small entity. You're not here to be someone who follows. You're here to leave behind a legacy that will be here long after you transition from this body to the next, whatever your soul will be doing. So this is just understanding to trust what you're receiving. You absolutely, and it's funny because you already know this. You know that you're here to leave a legacy. You know that you're here to live a very large, abundant life. But it's important for you to trust where you're going, trust where you're heading, and trust what you're receiving, because that is what's going to get you there. So really, this energy will help boost you this week for your own understanding, to trust what you're receiving. It's safe to trust and to love and honor and respect yourself. It is absolutely safe to do so, and in your case, it is absolutely imperative that you do so. It is extremely important that you trust yourself. It's so extremely important that you let the past go. Grant yourself that clemency. You cannot continue to criminalize yourself. You cannot continue to be guilty, as in guilt binding, as in continuously adhering to guilt in order to make yourself the enemy. That is no longer what you're doing. That's not the energy that you're working with. You're working with something a lot larger, a lot more all-encompassing, really. So it's really important for you to realize what it is that you're doing. Realize that you have a legacy. You are a legend. You are legendary. It is so beautiful, the energy that we have here. Like, like, trust what you're doing, trust where you're heading, and just trust that you are receiving. Trust what you are receiving, because it's the exact energy that's going to propel you to where you're going. So just trust what you're receiving. Even though I know that can be hard, because it's pretty difficult when you have a human mind, you have all this conditioning, all these layers of fears and doubts and different things like that, and then on top of that you have like this new influx of energy coming through, just kind of like bashing through all that and trying to throw all that away. You want to cling, but you have death here saying it's time. Death is saying it's time. So trust that part of you that is resonating on a higher level, and trust that part of you that's transforming, because that's exactly what you're undergoing, exactly what you're doing. It's what you're accomplishing, and it's beautiful. So you're doing it, so you don't have to like worry so much about like, when is it going to happen, blah blah blah. It is happening right now. It's exactly what you're undergoing. So it's beautiful energy. So let's get into your oracle cards, and then I'll let you go. But let's see what your oracle cards say about any of this energy, so we can bring any clarity, or just to bring any more information as to what you can do this week to kind of help really embody this energy, and help with this integration, because it's pretty hefty. So our Archangel card that we have for you today is Angel Therapy, of course. Archangel Raphael with "Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens." Exactly. That is a beautiful energy to have with this reading, like that, like support of like, we got you, we'll help you, we're here for you. You don't have to worry so much about what it is that you're receiving. Like, I know sometimes when you're receiving, like, oh, I feel like I'm receiving blessings, or I'm receiving really good energy, or something like that, you have those fears and those worries and those doubts that kind of brew up and try to like get in the way. So really, what helps me is sitting down and breathing. Just take a deep breath in, and now hold it for a couple seconds, and now let it out. And while I'm breathing out, I see all my worries and my fears and my doubts just going right up to spirit. I see one streamline going up to spirit, and one streamline going down to the core of the earth, so that they both, I'm resonating on each level as a spiritual entity, but also as a human body, a human being or existing. So just remembering that energy, that you have a support team and they're there for you. All it takes most of the time is just a little bit more breathing, really. So that angel therapy helping you out this week to release a lot of that tension, fear, and doubt that you have in your body around what you are receiving, because it's definitely a fear that I feel for you of what you're receiving. You're resisting what you're receiving. And the chakra that we have for you this week, coming through with some healing, we have, of course, the first reading, we get self-discipline after that collective reading. Definitely group one. For you, I would suggest for sure, watching the collective reading if you did not, because it'll probably help with some of the spots you feel fear of resonating or resonance. Definitely watch that collective reading, so it'll help move a little bit more of this energy to the places where it needs to go. So you have, let me bring it a little closer so that you can see and read along with me. I hope you can actually see that. Third chakra, solar plexus, self-discipline. My self-discipline and willpower will significantly help me in my efforts to move forwards and grow. I am free of the need for the approval of others. I face each challenge with determination and courage, and I am determined to live my life to its fullest potential. I am strong and capable. My actions speak louder than my words. Beautiful energy. Super, super excited about that. I love how you have like self-discipline with all this energy. That's why it's like you have to like, like you know what you're receiving. That's why, like, I picked up on the energy of you know better. You picking up on this intuitively. So it's like you have to actually make the choice to resonate. To do better. To begin the initial steps. Of the acting, because as a human being, there's always kind of this position that we put ourselves in. When we're being. Even when we're living in our authenticity, it's, sometimes it takes acting to get to where we need to feel like we're really doing the thing. So it's okay to begin acting upon those changes in your life that you want to see. So your Dawn Bringer intuitive message for this week to help with this energy is the Seven of Pentacles with I need to say. I put in effort every day to provide my hopes, dreams, and needs. I don't know why I wrote it like that, but you have the Seven of Pentacles, which makes a lot of sense, especially with the Ten of Pentacles out here, because I feel like that's kind of where you are, is understanding that now it takes true effort. It takes true effort. It takes a change of heart, like your heart changing. For some reason, it feels like your heart needs like physical alchemy, like physical direction. So I put in effort every day to provide my hopes, dreams, and needs. It's so funny. I don't know why I wrote it like that, but there it is. So a lot of beautiful energy here. It feels so good. This feels great. And then our Whispers of the Ocean card to help really move and solidify this energy. We have the Unexplained Wonder, of course, with number 44. Magical blessings and miracles are occurring in your life. All your prayers are answered now. Exactly, because what you're doing is learning how to trust what you're receiving and to trust what you are manifesting. So of course this card will come out. Because you know what you're receiving. It's all about the act of trusting. As soon as you trust and you're just like, I got it. I'm going to trust this. Even if the doubt is there, you still trust past the doubt. Even if the fear is there, you still trust past the fear. You trust that you are receiving. You know that you are receiving. You literally have the Ace of Wands out here. You have the Ten of Pentacles paired with two majors. You are absolutely gorgeous and just super, super radiant being. And it's super, super important for you to trust that knowing. Trust that knowing, group one. Super, super beautiful energy. So I'm so excited for you. I would love to know how this energy is coming through your life, from this reading. How is that influencing, your life? What is it? What am I seeing here? So that is the end of that. I don't know why I said that before. That's okay. That is the end of your reading, group one. I really, really hope you did enjoy it. If it did not resonate, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You are not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. You leave that for everybody else. They can pick up what they need from the reading and keep it going. So, beautiful energy. And I really, really hope that this was beneficial to you in some way, even if it didn't resonate, even if it's just something that you needed to hear from me or something. So, really cool. I hope that you enjoyed my vibe and my energy. Thank you so much to your guys and your energy for letting me pick around in it today. So, I hope to see you next time, group one. Bye-bye. Hello, group two. For all of our friends who chose the Leopard Jasper, this will be your week ahead reading. So, group one was so fun. I'm so excited about that reading. So, I'm super, super excited to get into this reading. So, Oracle cards aside, and of course, we have some tarot for more clarity, for more clarification. But most of what we get from the reading is all in this channeling right here with the power animal. So, let's see what we have for your reading today. We have Jaguar. I knew Jaguar was going to come out because Jaguar came through my meditation, my personal meditation, this morning. So it doesn't surprise me. So let's see what Jaguar has for us today. And it makes a lot of sense because of the frequency that Jaguar holds and the frequency at which it's resonating. It makes a lot of sense that it will come out quite often during this time of transition into wholeness out of duality. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm hearing multiple things. So I'll deliver both of those. So what Jaguar is saying is multiple things. For someone out there, you need to hear that it's safe to have like a change of heart. It's safe to change what you're doing. It's safe to kind of change up your style, your style of like your approach. Because what I see, like what I'm seeing is like this Jaguar like prowling through like the thickets of like a wetlands or something, and it's like I can sense that this Jaguar can like smell prey, but it doesn't know exactly where it is or where it's going. It's kind of like following a scent. So it's paying particular attention to the way it's approaching. Like it's stopping when it needs to stop and smell. It's changing direction. It's just it's following where its nose it's going. It's just following this knowing, this deeper sense. And I feel like this is what you are doing. Like it's okay to have a change of heart. It's okay to like change where you're going. It's okay to say, you know what, maybe this is not the way I want to approach this. Maybe this is not the way that I want to change this. Maybe this is not the direction I want to continue going in. Like, it's safe to make those changes, and you don't have to be so attached to the outcome. Like, if I make this change, will the outcome be X, Y, Z? What is really important is to trust your knowing for a change, or the desire for a change. That is what feels most important. Besides, like, let go. Like, this is definitely a message too of like letting go of like the outcome, which is interesting because big cats like jaguars, I think jaguars have a pretty high no, maybe they don't, pretty high like success rate for hunts, but I think it's only between like 20 and 30% for big cats, or the big four. um so that is, only between 10 and 30% do they actually secure most of their hunts. So the outcome, the odds truly for a big cat are not in their favor. And I don't want you to think, oh, that's me, I'm the big cat, so the odds are not in my favor. No, this is just a simple message of releasing the outcome. Make the changes directly. Don't make the changes based on what you want to happen in the future, as in, I'm going to make this change and then it's all going to unfold like plan XYZ. Like, there are just a lot more variables in place. There's just a lot more atoms. There are a lot more people, places, and things that are a part of this growing, a part of this evolution too. So this is taking yourself out of a position to, always only focus on the future. When you focus on the outcome, you're more so focused on the future. So this is more of a message of releasing like the outcome, and just trust where you're heading, trust what you're doing, trust when you feel a sense, or you have a really like delicious desire for change, or a change in direction, or it's funny, like a mode of operations, or your settings. Like, if your settings just feel like, I want to up my settings, I want to tweak my settings of who I am as a person, like, trust that, really, really trust that. Going back to our collective message, if you did not watch a collective message, please, I would implore you to watch it after this reading. It is definitely in line with this, kind of like changing your settings. And I feel like that is like externally and internally, like changing your settings, like the way that you operate, your habits, and what feels actually good to you, you know, like, well, this person said I need to exercise this many times a week. Well, like, what is your body actually saying? You know, like, maybe your body wants, you know, yoga twice a week or something like that. Like, or maybe your body only wants to use a certain type of product on your face once a week. Or maybe it wants it, you know, 5 times a week or 7 times a week or something like that. So it's like changing your settings, but also like trust where you're going and trust that you have that knowing, you know, trust that you can, like, because it seems like you're someone who is more aligned with embodying the standards of the average. And what Jaguar is saying is that you're not the average. Nobody is the average. Nobody is, you know, like, you have to trust what you're doing for your own body. Trust what you're doing for your own, like, inner knowing. Trust that you, like, know what your body needs and what your, you know, like, what, trust that you know what your body needs. Trust that you know what feels right to you and what feels good and what doesn't. um, that is the first message from Jaguar. There's another one here. Let me go back to it. They're also saying that you have, like, an impeccable sense of character, and it's really important that you know that. Like, it's important that you trust that knowing. Like, it's important that you don't allow external factors to influence that in a way to where you crumble. It's like having this deep sense of strength or fortitude, you know, of like you're shaken when you need to be, not just because someone made one comment and now, you know, your world is crumbling. There's like a huge message here of just having a deep reverence for yourself. It's like your conditioning tells you that you have to give that to God, or you have to give that to this entity, or, you know, this religious, you know, being, or this person that you idolize, this celebrity. But what they're saying is that deep sense of reverence that you so desperately want to give away, embody it. Give it to yourself. Really, really, that's like moving a lot of energy inside my own being. Like, have a deep sense of reverence, of a deep sense of admiration and respect and appreciation for what you're doing and who you are as a human being. Because so badly, so desperately, what we like to do as humans is we want to give that away so that we can receive it from the outside, receive it from someone else, because it feels good when it's reflected back. But when we choose to embody it, we have this fear that, oh, if I embody it, that means I don't need it from another human being. You don't need it from another human being. We want it. You know, it's a delicious reflection that we're desiring. It's like having a good meal, you know. And it doesn't matter, you know, like, you can be whoever, whatever celebrity, and there will still be people who project negativity onto you. There will still be people who project, you know, their own fears, their own limitations, and their own judgments onto you. And what you need to understand is that they are projecting. You're a reflection, and you are the same. When you are looking at someone else and you're judging them, or you're projecting your own limitations and blah blah blah, you're doing the same thing. They're a reflection of the places inside where you have placed barriers and boundaries, where you have placed limitations, where you have said no, where you have said yes, where you have placed judgment, what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you. They're just a reflection of that. So it's, you know, it's vice versa. It's not just trying to make it seem like everything is about everybody else and you're not doing the same thing, because you are. It's really, really important to understand that it's you thrive. Like, you'll thrive in this world if you live with a deep sense of reverence and respect for who you are and what you're doing and what you, like, can offer the world. I'm sorry that was so long-winded, but it's just like there was 2 messages coming through. But have a deep sense of respect for yourself. Really, I feel like that will really help you. Like, for some reason they're saying that'll help you across the ocean. It'll help you across the ocean. That's really interesting. And it's really interesting that they say that too, and there's a starfish here. So we have the Five of Pentacles, of course, because there's like this weird sense of like rejection that you have going on. And then we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, and then we also have straight, of course. Of course. And then for some reason this card wants to be bottom deck energy. So let's see what it is. Oh, Ten of Wands. Yep. Have respect for the work that you're doing and your highest visioning, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. Have respect for the way in which you are overcoming that, for the way in which you are moving out of these layers and layers upon layers of, self-destruction, self-sabotage, and generational trauma. And all these layers of, deceit and chaos and lying. And like, there's so much that you're healing that you don't, like, realize that you're healing. There's so much that you're transforming out of and into. There's so much that you're unlearning and that you're deconstructing. So it's taking its time. And I love how you have the Ten of Wands. This is like, yeah, like that's what this feels like, really. Like this, like, you're just carrying and working through so much, like toiling. And I feel like the Five of Pentacles is here to tell you, to show you, or to reflect back to you where you are rejecting yourself. Where you are rejecting, where you're saying no to yourself because you're afraid, or you're saying no to yourself because you're afraid to receive. Because what's interesting here is, I feel like strength came out just to solidify solidify that energy of fortitude, that energy of strength, like a deep sense of strength that you naturally have, and you're uncovering that. But what I see is you're calling out for healing. You really, really are desiring healing in a huge way. However, what is happening is you're rejecting yourself that healing because you keep telling yourself that you don't need it, or you keep telling yourself that you don't deserve it, or you're not worthy of it because you haven't done the work, or you haven't done enough work. But the Ten of Wands is literally out here today to tell you that you have done the work, you are doing the work. I feel like the reason why the Five of Pentacles is upright, and the Ace of Cups, or Ace of Chalices, is in reverse, is because you're afraid of receiving. You're afraid of actually stopping what you're doing, stopping your work, and actually receiving, because it's like you're doing all this healing and all these things that you're doing, this change of heart, all this stuff that you're doing because you want the healing, you want the manifestations, you want healthy things to come into your life. But Spirit is saying, put down the wands. Like, you're persevering, but you're going to persevere regardless of what it is that you're doing. You're going to survive, and you're going to thrive, and you're going to get to where you're going regardless of what you're doing. You're doing everything perfectly, and it seems like you're holding so tightly on to the healing process that you're not understanding that healing is not just toiling. You're thinking that you constantly have to toil in order to heal. Toiling is part of healing, but only a part. And I love how we also got the Ace of Chalices with, like, these kids playing in the water. And it's like, oh, it'll help you across the oceans. So another confirmation of just solidifying, you have an inner knowing. You know what you're doing. You know what's happening. You know what you're uncovering. Spirit wants you to realize that you're doing the work, and to take some pressure off of yourself, but also know what you're doing. Trust what you're doing. Trust that you enjoy what you're doing. Trust that it's safe to enjoy what you're doing. It's safe to enjoy the changes that are coming into your life. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. I keep hearing it's safe. It's safe. It's safe. Like, it's like the Five of Pentacles. This person is like holding this child. And I just feel like they're telling them that it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. Like, even though they have so much, that they've been through in life, and life has been difficult for them, it still has this energy of it's safe. Because, what comes after the Five of Pentacles, we have the Six of Pentacles with charity, with support, with help. So it's really, really important to realize that that is what you're doing, and to not trap yourself in this constant like rejection of, I can't have this until this happens, or I can't have this until I'm done with this, or this is healed, or I do this, or I do that, or do this, or do that. Actually take a breather and a time out to actually receive. Receive, receive, receive. So it's okay to change your direction. It's okay to know what you're doing. And really what's going to help you through this is having a deep sense of respect for what it is that you're doing, because you're working through a lot. You're toiling through a lot of like emotional labor, a lot of emotional healing, because what the emotional healing is doing is it's sparking alchemy on all levels. It's going from, you know, the inside out and not the outside in. So usually, you know, not usually, but as human beings, we've been conditioned to operate from outside. So we have some outside gratification that makes us happy within. What you're learning how to do is to have the inside validation and the inside love and the inside happiness that is reflected on the outer. That is what you're doing. So you're doing something that's very different than what you've been conditioned to do, what has been ingrained in you and what has been ingrained in your intergenerational line. So it's really important to realize the healing work that you're doing, to realize the energy that you're moving, and to realize that it's safe to receive, because you actually do deserve and are worthy of a reward. You're worthy of healing. You're worthy of a change of setting. You're worthy of time. You're worthy of space. You're worthy of energy. You're worthy of money. You're worthy of every single thing that you're needing. So it's really important for you to fortify that, you know, and not allow other people's opinions or their own, you know, reflection of their own limitations to get in the way of that. So let's get into your oracle cards and see what they have to say about this energy. So your Archangel card for this week to help with this energy, we have relationship harmony. Of course, this makes total sense. This makes total sense. Archangel Raguel, I always say that wrong. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now, which makes total sense to me, especially with the healing, especially with, you know, people projecting, people's judgments, people's, you know, others' opinion, their opinions and ideas. How I was saying earlier, it's okay to respect what you're receiving, because what they have going on is between them and spirit, and what you have going on is between you and spirit. Very different things, you know. So allow everything, allow your worries to your worries to be resolved, you know, and understand that the healing that you're undergoing is the same healing that every other human being is experiencing to some degree as well. So, and then we have our Chakra wisdom card for you this week. Oh, wow. Solar plexus again. Of course, this makes so much freaking sense with the collective reading. So we have solar plexus with freedom of choice. I have the freedom to choose, so I choose wisely, because my decisions have a great impact on how I see myself and how I feel about myself. I own, accept, and express my feelings unreservedly, and I do not try to escape them with my own mind games. I have free will to choose how I respond to any situation. I choose to respond with wisdom, clarity, and understanding. Of course you would have the solar plexus. Of course you would have freedom of choice, because this is you getting to the understanding that it's safe to make choices that benefit you. It's safe to make choices that benefit you. It's safe to want to manifest things and to want to receive things that benefit you in your life. You're starving yourself, and you're really trying to reject the very energy that you're calling in. For some reason, you're rejecting it because you feel like toiling is the way. You feel like it's the hard work that's going to get you there, and you don't realize that you are doing the hard work. So, next cards, we have our Dawnbringer of Intuitive Message. You have the Knight of Swords with, I use my knowledge and intelligence to get to the best of my ability. I am healthy mentally. So let me read that again, because it's my handwriting. I use my knowledge and intelligence to the best of my ability. I am healthy mentally. Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. I don't feel like I need to say anything about that. That makes total sense. This all goes back to, like, you have the solar plexus out here. This is that self-discipline. This is that knowing of self. This is the trust that you have the knowing. You have the knowing. You have the knowledge. You have the intelligence. You know where you're going. You can trust yourself mentally. You can trust that you're receiving. You can trust that you're in the right place. You can trust that you're going. You can trust that you're going to where you need to go. And you can also trust that you're already there, really. So we have our Whispers of the Ocean card to really help solidify this energy. So let's see what you got. Clearing the excess. That makes total sense. You are entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it is in your physical body or your physical space. That makes total sense. So that makes total sense with the message of, having a change of heart, changing direction, because that too is like clearing the clutter of, I don't need this anymore. This is going to go over there while I change direction. And this is going to, I'm going to clean this up so I can change direction or something like that. So that makes total sense for where the energy that we're receiving. You know where you're going. Everything is truly is in divine order, and you trust that you know. I don't have to explain anything to you, group 2. You know where you're going. So super good energy. I'm super excited for you. This is some good stuff. So breathe that in, group 2. Thank you so much for coming to this reading today. I really do hope it benefited you. I really hope you enjoyed it. If it did not resonate, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. Thank you so much to Spirit and for you tuning in today, your guides, and everything in this universe that helps supports our connection today. So I really hope to see you next time, group 2. Bye-bye. Hello, group 3, for all of our friends who chose the Pyrite Fool's Gold for your week ahead message. I forgot to move the stone from the last reading, but this will be your message today. So, Oracle cards aside, we have our tarot today for more confirmation. I'll be using the New Visions tarot, but pretty much everything we need will be in this channeling here. So, let's see what you have for your reading today. You have Prairie Dog. Okay. Very interesting. We don't typically get Prairie Dog. So let's see what Prairie Dog is saying. So it seems like you're worried about, like, the healing of others. Or the way that other people are healing. Because what's interesting, prairie dogs, they live in, like, giant communities, and they definitely connect with each other, and they help each other with everything, really. Very close, very, like, family-oriented animals. You have to, so the message coming through is you have to trust that your healing is also healing others. So there is this fear that you have of, like, interesting, it's tied to the rest of the piles, but, like, there's a fear that you have that you're not doing enough, or that, like, you're not doing enough for others, that others aren't healing, or others aren't going to heal unless you heal, which is not true. Trust that when they heal, you heal, and trust that when you heal, they heal. It's a mutual exchange for our collective, not just family, but we feel it more directly when it's, coming from the people that we are around, that are in our immediate ecosystem. So it's really important for you to understand that your healing is doing something for the entire collective. Your healing is doing something for your family. Maybe you may not see that healing, come through maybe in this lifetime. You may not see that healing come through for a couple of years. You may not see it come through in the ways that your ego wants to see it come through, which is understandable. Of course you want to see people healing because you trust and you know that everybody has the same potential in them that you have. But it's important for you to know that everything is based on what we're doing collectively, because collectively we all create the one great spirit. But it's important to know that individually, on an individual level, anything that is happening with a certain being is between them and spirit and their spiritual team and their guidance, and what's going on internally. And you have to understand that no matter how much and how beautifully you are healing, if the people that you want to heal are not ready, or they don't have the capacity to receive what you're offering, then they're simply not ready. So it's the same thing for you, right? What happens for you is you're stretching your capacity, and you're stretching so that you can get to a point to where you can receive what spirit is actually offering you. So there's a lot of uncovering, there's a lot of excavating, there's a lot of dealing and digging and moving and purging and seeing and going through that cycle of healing all over again. Because it's 1 second and the next second you don't. It's a constant cycle of shadow and clarity, shadow and clarity, shadow and clarity, moon in the sun, moon in the sun. It's a constant cycle inside. And what you're doing is finding out how to get comfortable in both settings of healing. The clarity, the receiving, the abundance, the joy, but also the depth, the deep, the alchemy, the cooking, the confrontation, the truth, the more denser energies that keep us bound to certain levels of thinking or certain forms of reality. So it's really important for you to realize that the work you're doing is working. The work you're doing is working, but you're super, super concerned about your family. You're extremely concerned about your family. You're extremely concerned about your friends. You're extremely concerned about the people that you're around. You're extremely concerned about people that you want to receive you who may not. And it's really important for you to understand that spirit is stretching everybody's capacity. You're not free of this. Your family, the people that you're around, the people that you love dearly are not free of this. The only thing that kind of hurts to you, which I completely identify with, is the fact that you don't know what it's going to take for them to stretch their capacity, and again, that's something that's between you and spirit. So what spirit is really asking you is to kind of back off a little bit and alleviate some of that spiritual healing that you want to offer, and give that to yourself. But also, don't be afraid to express yourself around your family. Don't be afraid to say what you're really feeling. Don't be afraid to offer. You can offer even if they're not ready to receive. Now that's all depends on you and your own boundaries and your own capacity. There's some positions where you put yourself into where that if you fight this fight, it's going to be a lost cause, or perceived as a lost cause, because you can't force anybody's healing. You can't force anybody's clarity. You cannot force someone to receive something they're not ready to receive. So it's funny that we live in this plane of existence where everybody's like, I want to receive, I want this, I want that, but a lot of people are not ready to receive. They're not ready to receive the truth. They're not ready to tap into that level of flow, because that level of flow taps you into a level of self that a lot of us deny. So it's really, really important for you to understand that you cannot control what someone else is receiving. You cannot control what someone else is hearing, what they're feeling, what they're sensing, what they're saying, how they're expressing. You cannot control that. You cannot control how someone is experiencing you as well. You can control how you experience other people. You can control how you experience yourself, but you cannot control anything when it comes to other people. People are going to control themselves. They're going to control what they consume. They're going to control all of those like little things. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important for you to release this need to force or change your family and your friends and the people that you're around, and actually focus on your own healing. Because when you focus on your own healing, you become more of like a model. You become you become more of a beacon. You really, really ingrain and own that sense of knowing and of healing inside your own self. And it really energetically really gives other people a desire and a sense to do the same thing. So really, really kind of alleviate, kind of back off a little bit, kind of like, because I see, and this message is totally for me, but I see you like gritting your teeth a little bit and kind of being a little bitey or barky because you want people to change in the way that you're willing to, because you're really willing to receive the instructions and act upon those instructions. You're willing to receive and make those changes. Not everybody around you is at that point to where they're willing to receive yet, and that is okay. That's where they are in their journey. Where they are in their journey is exactly where they need to be, and they're going exactly where they need to be going. Now, this is one of those times too where I have to mention that spirit by design is something that we will never, as human beings, have a full knowing of when, why, and how. We may know a lot, but there comes to a point in the knowing where there's some stuff as a human being where it hurts and it's unpleasant, but spirit does have an inner working for it. Like, there's a reason why those gears are turning. It's important to understand that. So it's important to understand that none of us have it all figured out. None of us have it all figured out. We're still human beings, and that's the purpose of our existence. We're human beings. We are entities, souls, spirits, experiencing what it's like to be a human being. That's exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what you're doing every day. You're experiencing what it's like to eat and to feel and to drink and to shine and to smile and to hug and to feel hate and to cry and to feel pain. You're experiencing all those things because that is the package that comes with being a human being. Will it be like that forever? I can actually guarantee that's a no. I don't believe that it will be as that forever. I feel like there are higher dimensional realities that we can experience as human beings. That is my personal knowing. You don't have to agree. However, currently where we are in our step in this evolution, none of us have it fully figured out, but the best way to get close to that is to understand and trust your own knowing, and to know that the same knowing that's happening within you is happening within everybody else. They're just at their level of receiving. So we always want people to be patient with us and to take their time and just wait for us to get to a full place of understanding. Well, that's exactly what Spirit is doing for you. Spirit is not going to give you anything that you can't handle. Spirit is not going to put anything on your plate that you can't eat or you can't figure out. And this is all for your soul growth. So a lot of times we have stuff that we want to experience or that we want to be as a human being that is not so aligned with our soul growth. We're just not aligned at that time. And I feel like what we're doing right now is getting more aligned with being a human being and more in tune with what we need as a spirit, as a soul, as we're growing. So more and more our destinies are becoming more and more in line with what we're seeing in our higher visioning as human beings. And I think that you are coming into that understanding. But I feel like the prairie dog is in reverse, because every time I tap into the energy of it in reverse, it's like, release your family. Release your family, as in release this sense of them growing, as in they have to grow, they have to do this thing in order to get to this thing. It's like, no, they're growing at their own pace, and they're going exactly at the pace that they need to be going. You don't have to force them to speed up or slow down. You're going at the pace that feels comfortable for you. They're going at the pace that feels comfortable for them. And it's between them and spirit. It's not between you and them. It's about their inner knowing, your inner knowing. And this is for people you're in relationships too. Friends, family, co-workers, everything. Now, this doesn't mean that you won't challenge people. You should. Because that's how we grow. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't confront. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't call out behavior. You absolutely should, because that helps a lot with growing, really. However, the truth is their inner knowing and their inner growth is where they are. And it's not a hierarchy. It's not about lower or higher. It's just about, imagine everyone as this beautiful spirit, or like a radiant orb. And imagine just a circle or aura around them, and that aura is growing. So that's what you're doing. You're stretching your capacity. You're stretching that aura so that you can stretch what it is that you can receive. The more you stretch that aura, the more you open up your capacity to receive. So it's not that someone is better or worse because their capacity to receive is slimmer while yours is larger. It's just the work that you're doing and the way in which you're communicating with your truest knowing. That's it. It's not, you're not better and you're not worse. Nobody's worse than you. Nobody's better. It's not a hierarchy. It's just about what you're doing for your personal individual knowing, which you have been designed to do, which you literally incarnated to do, so that you can ground this knowing, because you have that sense of confidence, because you have that sense of strength, because you have that deep desire and that knowing. You already know, you know what it is that you're doing, and you're not going to stop until you get that, right? So it's important to know that the same healing that's happening for you is happening for everybody that you know. Everybody that you know. You know, nobody's free of this. No one is free of this. And they just have to be led to that, you know, their own selves. It's not about you forcing it, or you just like, oh, you would be better off if you just listen to me, or you'd be better off if you would just do this thing, if you would just leave, or you would just blah, blah, blah. It's literally just them learning how to trust their own knowing, get in tune with their own selves the same way that you are doing. And it's like the sooner you trust that, the sooner you can like really move on from this energy. So of course we have the King of Cups in reverse, flew out of there. And then we have the Seven of Swords. Of course, it makes total sense. And then we have Strength in reverse, which is funny. It's the second time. And there's a card that wants to clarify of course, there's a card that wanted to clarify the Seven of Swords, and of course it's the Four of Pentacles. In bottom deck, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So it makes total sense to me. It makes total sense. Sorry about the lighting. There we go. Makes total sense to me. And the reason why it makes sense is because what it feels like here is this, there's like a sense of like hoarding. There's like a sense of like there's a sense of like you don't want to give out your love energy. You don't want to like be your truest self until other people do it. But it's like you already have that sense, you already have that knowing. So you're like, so really, since it's already there, it's for the best of, you know, your own ability, your own life, and the people around you to actually just go ahead and tap into that knowing, you know. And this is not about a false sense of strength. This is not about a false sense of, you know, like, this is not about being unrealistic, as in, this is not about, let me see. This is not about, I keep losing that track, because there's something like coming in right there. There's like a fear coming in right there. A fear of understanding, like right there. Vulnerability. There's like this fear of like you overworking because you feel like you're going to miss out on the awakening, and if your friends and family don't do it, that they're going to miss out on the awakening, or like you have like this fear of like you don't know where you're going. It's like, this goes back to the message of trusting what you're receiving, but trusting that everybody else is receiving too. Because you have this with the Seven of Swords, and it's so funny that you have the Prairie Dog, which is number 47, and then we have the 7 and the 4. Not a coincidence at all. But what's interesting is that you feel like you have to go back, like with the Seven of Swords is saying like you have, like you think that you have to go back and fix everything and force everything, and like you're not showing yourself any mercy, like you're not letting up on yourself, like you're not relieving any pressure off of yourself, mainly because emotionally you have some like fear of some type of like traction or contraction or something that's happening emotionally. You have like a fear of it. You have like a fear of letting go of something emotionally. Like for some reason, like I see like the energy of the King of Cups like doing like this motion here. Like there's a fear of like what I see for you is like this gripping. And it's like if you come up to breathe and you start breathing, there's something that's happening there. I'm trying to tap into what is that's happening in that, like, that gripping and that letting go. Because it's not necessarily control. It's kind of control, but it's not. Mm. Mm. Okay, so this goes back. This kind of coincides with the second reading. So what happens? Ooh, that neck crack. What happens when you let go, in a sense of when you trust your own inner knowing, and you trust that spirit is operating in your life the same way that spirit is operating in, everybody else's life. When you see spirit operating in everybody else's life, you don't trust where they're going, because you don't trust the decisions that they're making. You don't trust the way that they're operating. You don't trust the way that they're viewing themselves. You don't trust their opinions. You don't trust their level of self-awareness. It's just like you don't trust. You don't trust that it's actually happening, and that is it's a reflection of your own self. It's what you're looking at this. You're seeing this because it's what's happening inside. So the fear is that if you let go, if you relieve this pressure, that means that you can't control the outcome the way in which you want to control it. So that means you can't control the outcome for your family. This means that you can't control the outcome for yourself. It's like you have a fear of like, if I take the pressure off, I can't get to where I'm going. If I take the pressure off, I can't get to where I'm going. And if you take the pressure off of your family, then you feel like they can't get to where they're going. Off of your friends too. You feel like, oh, if I take the pressure off, then they can't get to where they're going. And that is like what's contracting right now. It's like relieving that pressure, because it's like, and this is probably my pile, really. But it's really saying like you have to trust where you're going. And you have to trust that everybody around you and everybody else has a destiny, and they're going to get to where they're going. Even if, and it's hard to embody this, even if we see all the time in our human beingness or our human existence that we don't, our minds, we have things in this world that we want to experience, or we want to do, or we want to see, or whatever. Even if you don't get to do all those things, it does not mean that you failed. It does not mean that you didn't do right. It does not mean you were not worthy. You have to release that. I feel like that releasing right there is what will help right you emotionally. It's like you have to stop seeing like death and like certain types of things as failure. Like death is not a failure. Just because you pass away doesn't mean you lost to your demons or you failed or something like that. Or cause that's what's coming up. I'm sorry to like have such a like deep, conversation about this. Cause like I feel like you are like I feel like this is like your the energy of you and your ecosystem. It's like you're the Page of Wands. It's like you hold this inner knowing, like you have this connection to source itself. And what you're wanting to do is take that and multiply it so that you have enough for everyone and give it out and give it away. Um, but what you're really doing with the Seven of Swords is biting off more than what you can chew. You're biting off more than what you can chew, as in you're trying to heal everything and do everything for others. You're trying to, it's so funny because my friend told me about this yesterday, like in Mormonism, like you can go get baptized for other people, which I'm not dissing, or disrespecting, or trying to at least disrespect anybody else's knowing or their religion. But what is coming through this reading here is saying that you actually cannot heal on behalf of others, hoping that this heals them, and then they get to their destiny and they get to where they're going, and they want to, they get to what they're doing. It's just like your spirit and your soul has a higher knowing. It has a higher sense, and unfortunately there's just some places in which you have to let go of the outcome, and you have to let go of what you want other people to do or what you want to happen for others. That's between them and spirit. So it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but it's realizing that everybody within our collective has a personal relationship with spirit and spirituality and themselves as a spiritual being, as an entity. So this is really getting yourself out of this deception that you can force healing, that you can, of course, because we have strength over here in reverse, or that you can force anybody to see their own selves, or to deal with their own, damage, and to deal with their own healing. It's not something that you can force. It is literally based on other people's capacity and where they are, and only spirit knows that. Only they know that. Only them. That's between them and spirit. And that's what you're realizing and learning, and that is heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. That's really heartbreaking. Because it's like you can see everybody in their highest vision. You can see everybody happy. You can see everybody, with their dream jobs and their dream relationships and their dream friendships and connections. It's like you can see it. But it's like if people can't see it for themselves, or people... Sorry about that, group 3. The phone started ringing. But anyway, back to your reading. This is definitely about trusting that everybody's going to get to where they're going. You don't have to worry so much. Now, I don't want you to think that you can't support people. Again, like I said earlier, you're a human being. We're all interdependent. We're all interconnected. You're absolutely going to get to where you're going. You're absolutely going to, you have a destiny, we all do. And it's safe to support people in that, to give people advice, to help people in any way you can, and to be compassionate. But what you're learning to do is not take it on your own self. Like, take people's pain, as in take what they're doing and really embody it, and make it your problem, as in I have to save them, or like the savior complex, like I have to save them, or it's my job, and if I fail then we all fail. It's releasing that, because at the end of the day you have to realize that everybody has to take responsibility for their own life. Everybody has to take responsibility for their own knowing and what they're doing and the choices that they're making, and what they're believing, and the thoughts that they're playing into. So that's what you're doing. Remember, I am not talking about, not supporting people, not helping people, because that's what we do naturally as human beings. People we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't support each other in that way. But this is about knowing that other people's responsibilities are not yours as the same. Your responsibilities are not theirs. Because you have a tendency to say, well, I'm not going to eat until, everybody can eat, or I'm not going to get to where I'm going until everybody else gets to where they're going first. It's like it's really self-sacrificing, when really spirit wants to build you up so that you can show that to others that are within your ecosystem that it's possible, to be that model, to be that shining star, actually. So it's a really beautiful energy that you have going for you. So let's get into your oracle cards. I'm sorry your reading was a little longer, but there's a lot of energy going on there. So let's see what your oracle cards have to say about this energy. So we have gentleness, of course. Of course we have gentleness. With Archangel Sandalphon, be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. Exactly. Makes total sense to be gentle with yourself through this energy. Because it's hard. This is a heartbreaking, tough energy to realize and go through, because it it's helping you what you're experiencing, but it's hard. It's definitely strengthening. It's very fortifying, but it's releasing your grip, and it's releasing this like ill placed force or aggression, which I feel like is very beneficial to you. So we have your chakra wisdom cards. Let's see what chakra is coming through for you this week with this energy. Of course we have the fourth chakra. Of course we have the fourth chakra. We have the fourth chakra with generosity. Generosity is sharing. I give myself freely, and I am open to opportunities to do so. I do this because I can, and I expect nothing in return. Speaking from the heart will let those around me know how I feel about them. My generosity will touch another person's heart and replenish their spirit. Through love, I have a positive, spontaneous, and lasting influence on the healing and transformation of both myself and others. Exactly. This is about like knowing that the healing that you're undergoing and what you're doing is actually extremely supportive, and you don't have to force. You don't have to take responsibility for other people, but you can share, you can understand, you can relate, there's so many other things that you can do besides placing all the burden on yourself, thinking that you need to surmount all this for everybody, or thinking that all the pressure needs to be on you. But really what you can do in truth is relate to them at a human level, relate to everybody on a human level and in this human experience. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can do. That is exactly why Spirit is building you up, actually. It's really beautiful energy. So our intuitive message from the Domberry team we have today with the King of Swords, of course. I communicate openly and concisely. I speak truthfully, clearly, and do not try to impress others with my speech or vocabulary. I love that. So this is another message of not trying to go out of your way to be perfect, not trying to go out of your way to be, something that you're not. Just relating to everybody, on a human level. Just relating, and not putting yourself in a position to where, I am, the savior of the land, and I have to do everything, and if I fail, then we all fail, and it all sucks. But this is more about just being a human being, and sometimes it happens, and sometimes crap is hard, and sometimes life is freaking beautiful and amazing. You can't even explain why, So this is definitely a beautiful energy to have, about communicating and just being really open and being truthful, and like being honest with yourself and where you're going, and loving yourself a lot. Being generous with yourself and just loving yourself a whole lot, because that it's something that you're beautifully reflecting into the world around you. And your whispers of the ocean card for this week is amble with contentment. Waiting rather than acting is going to be most advantageous now. So I love that. I love this green energy that's going on over here. Super potent. Your heart chakra knows. I would definitely say work with your heart chakra energy this week, because whatever you have going on, and this is my first time ever actually seeing this card, so that's really interesting. So just really work with your heart chakra energy. Introduce some gentleness. Just kind of take some time off. Take some guilt-free time off to just relax. Just relax. Don't force. Don't fight so much. Just relax, because whatever is coming into your life and whatever positioning that you're being placed in is absolutely worth waiting for. You've done everything that you needed to do. Everything else that you're doing, you're just doing to keep yourself occupied at this point. So just make sure that you aren't trying to take responsibility for everybody else, and you're sharing, and you're being honest, and you're just having a good time. Just have a good time. Just have a good time. Connect and replenish. So Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy we have for you, group 3. I really, really hope it resonated. And if it didn't, that's okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that isn't yours. So thank you so much for coming out and vibing with my energy and my style. Thank you so much for sharing all of your energy with me and letting me pick through it a little bit. And, I'll see you next time, group 3. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, group 4, for everyone who chose the African turquoise. This will be your reading for today. So, oracle cards aside, we have tarot today for some more confirmation, and of course I'm using New Visions because it's like one of my only decks that wants to be used right now. Which is really fun. It's so funny when they do that. So let's get into your power animal message and let's see what you got going on for your reading. We have mouse. Ooh, you're surmounting some big things. Ooh, okay. That came through immediately, just even touching the energy. Small changes that you're making are surmounting huge, huge things. I'm hearing like small tweaks, small tweaks. The vibration alignment is already there. All you need are small tweaks. Interesting. Okay. So this is you getting into who you already are this week, as in like, you know who you truly are, you know what it is you actually want. And what you're doing is making those, like, it's like you've already been doing the thing. You already know what you've been doing. But right now, you're just making those small little mental, physical, spiritual, emotional tweaks to really get you into full alignment. This is like a new car going in for an adjustment is what you're doing. Because it's like whatever you have been doing or whatever you have started or are starting, it's like what you're doing is you're taking off these layers and layers of hiding, which is so funny because it's what I'm doing. But every single time I read tarot, it's always a reflection back to what I'm experiencing. So it's so funny. Yeah. Group 2. I mean, not group 2. Group 4. It's like super, and it's funny because this message is coming from group 2, but it's like definitely really important to, and like trust where you're receiving, but also trust the direction your life is taking. Trust the direction that your life is taking, and like trust these like little small tweaks that you're integrating. Like these little small tweaks kind of like, not kind of, they mean everything to your spiritual development, what you're manifesting and how you're evolving. It's these like small tweaks that you're making. I'm sorry, I didn't even see the card was like all the way over here. It's like these like small tweaks that you're making that is making the difference. Like this mouse could like chew through this whole, tree branch, and I will make a difference. So it's like really give yourself a pat on the back for the small tweaks that you've been making, and give yourself a pat on the back for all that you've been surmounting. Because now I feel like really you've gotten through all the big things. And what you're doing is like kind of tweaking, like making little adjustments here, little adjustments there. Because there's always going to be some, Mount Kilimanjaro worth surmounting, right? There's always going to be some big thing. But what you're doing right now is tweaking the small things after you've already, overcome something huge. So now what you're doing is moving into a space of stability. You're moving into some type of stability, some type of settling, as not in settling as in I'm settling for something less, but settling as in putting your feet on the ground. Like, you know how when you shake up a snow globe and then all the snow like settles to the bottom of the globe. This is you, like, you rose yourself through so much triumph, like just levels and levels and layers and layers and layers and layers of deception and just ill knowing, and you come to a true sense of true knowing, and what you're doing is putting your feet on that. Besides going back to where you were, you have a new foundation laid which you can stand upon. That is what you're doing. So with your new knowing, what you're doing is tweaking a little areas in your life, in your mental space, your emotional space, your spiritual space. You're tweaking these, making these small little tweaks, because the vibrational alignment for everything that your inner knowing, like, you have a strong inner knowing, so everything you already know that's coming into your life, it's already vibrationally aligned. What's happening is you're making these small little tweaks in order for it to materialize in a way that ensures confirmation. So they're saying in a way that ensures confirmation, as in a way that you know it came from you, because this is the frequency alignment they want you to be on. This is a frequency alignment you've chosen to embody during this lifetime, as in knowing yourself as awareness, knowing yourself as the creator, which is huge. That's huge. So what you're doing is really understanding, like, frequency alignment and vibration in a huge way, and it's like you didn't realize that that's what you were actually doing. Like, you're like, oh, I just want to manifest this and I just want to manifest that, and you know, my life will be fine once I get here, like, what you were actually doing was understanding frequency alignment, vibrational alignment, evolution, and understanding yourself as a spiritual entity. And it's like all these little small things here and there that you didn't realize are happening for a reason. You know, it like all these little things that you consider inconsequential made all the difference. So really what you're doing really this week is really looking into that and embodying that energy of, like, whoa, like, you can, like, I keep hearing, you can get comfortable with where you're standing. You can get comfortable with where you're standing. So it's beautiful energy. Like, you can get comfortable with the knowing that you have, with the work that you have done, like where you are as a human being. You can get comfortable with that sense of knowing. You know, you can get comfortable where you are. Get comfy is what they're saying, which is so funny. So let's pull some tarot to see what else is going on with this energy. What is going on here? Alright. So we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse for the overall frequency. And then we have the Ace of Wands right under that. That's so funny. I feel like I should recommend that you watch Group 2 as well. For some reason, there's like a link between those two piles. So, of course, we have the Star. We have the Chariot in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And then we have the Four of Cups. Yeah, with the Star, and I like in this deck it's called the Stars. But with the Star and the Chariot, yeah, you don't... It's like you don't, like, you didn't realize how much you were surmounting. Like, you didn't realize how important every single atom has been in your life. And it's like, really, you're understanding that now. Like, you're diving into a deeper sense of that knowing, which is really beautiful, actually, the way it's popping up in my visioning. I honestly feel like with the Chariot in reverse, I feel honestly like the majority of your big quest has been with, you know, inner knowledge, inner knowing, inner, and you thought it was all like outer, but it wasn't. This is about like some deep radical healing in your body, you know, in your soul, on a soul level. This was all meant to touch a deep cell. really, 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 it's so funny because this came through last week for a reading, but really, I feel called to say it again, like, trust what you're receiving and trust what you're knowing, because help is on its way. I don't know why they're saying help is on the rescue. I don't know what that means, but help is on the way. Like, support is on the way. Like, physical, material support is on the way. And you don't have to put so much pressure into, like, the reason why the Ten of Pentacles is in reverse is because you don't have to put yourself in, like, it's like, it feels like you want to put yourself in a predicament, the predicament of, I gotta figure this out, I gotta figure out where I'm going, I gotta feel like, I'm over all this healing stuff, I can't do it, it's just really annoying, nothing's happening on the outside, like, what am I doing, like, what's happening? But really, the Ten of Pentacles is here to say, for its overall frequency, is you don't have to, like, this is already solidified, this is already here, this is already in your future, and it's already in your future knowing, like, it's already in your highest vision, and you already see it there. So really what you're doing is ignoring it, because you don't see how where you are now is going to lead to that. That is the fear. You don't understand how, like, how am I going to get to that, or how am I going to come into contact with this person or this situation or this experience or something like that. And it's funny because it's already vibrationally aligned. I feel like you just are too afraid to see yourself as this queen. This could easily be the King of Pentacles as well, but you're too afraid to receive the knowing of this Queen of Pentacles. You're afraid to receive this knowing of the bounty, of the abundance that is available to you, because you don't see it right now, right in front of you. You're afraid to see that. So I feel like that's exactly why I have the Four of Cups out here like this, is because you're afraid to tap into this highest knowing of yourself as a Queen of Pentacles. You're afraid to tap into it beforehand, as in, it's easy for someone like, a celebrity like Beyonce or something to say, oh, I'm the Queen of Pentacles, because you can see it, right? But what Spirit is wanting you to do is to see it and own it energetically, vibrationally, before you actually know it reality-wise. And it's beautiful because, mentioning Beyonce, she is someone who definitely knew it all her life. She never shy about that, you know what I'm saying? She knew all her life that she was going to get where she was going, that she was Beyonce knows, and she was going to make herself into something. She knew that she was Queen Bee. She knew where she was going. She knew that this legacy that she was going to leave behind, she knew all that stuff was going to unfold. Whatever it took for her to get there, whatever it took, she did it, and look at where she is now. So I feel like the same thing is happening for you. This is exactly why we have the star out here. That's exactly why we have all these cards out here, is because you are this same rising star. You are this same, you have that same vibrational, like, frequency. I don't know why they're saying it like that. It's like you have the same knowing, and now it's just time for you to trust it and know yourself as that. Stop holding yourself hostage with the Chariot and think that you have to work and work and work, and think about it's all about this work and this hard work and this white knuckling and this dog eat dog world. Because this gives off, like, especially this guy here gives off this, like, a dog eat dog type energy. It's kind of funky how it's coming off the Chariot, but in reality, like, you are not designed to operate that way. So your legacy is already, like, I keep hearing, like, your legacy is already solidified. Like, that is already happened. It's almost like the past, the present, and the future are happening for you simultaneously, and you know that. But what you're doing is you're ignoring it, or you're too afraid, because what you think of as, for some reason you're afraid to trust your inner knowing, because you don't want to be seen as lazy, you don't want to be seen as not trying, you don't want to be seen as, oh, I'm not doing good enough. It's like, that's what it is. But you don't understand that even, like, these small periods, you know, or these transitional phases, or these periods in your life that are more hibernation mode, where you're not, you know, working, or you're not, you know, doing, surmounting something, or healing. Like, it's just like everything plays its part, group 4. And I feel like that is the truth of your knowing, like knowing that everything plays its part. It's all part of your origin story. So what you're really being asked to do is stop ignoring this energy that you feel, or stop ignoring this highest visioning that you already have, because you keep ignoring it, like, oh, it's not here yet, I don't care. But it's like, what I see happening is, in the Four of Cups, Spirit is offering this cup, but it's empty, and you're just like, hello? Isn't this supposed to have a drink in it? But what is happening is, Spirit is saying, like, we'll pour into you. We'll pour into you. And it's like not even a pouring either. It's almost like, you know, like, almost like this, what is this? Like, I'm trying to explain it, but it's almost like this is like right over there. Like, if she just if this person just walks down over these hills, you know, and they'll just see that this is there, and they have a cup, and there's an abundance to drink, you know. It's really interesting. It's like Spirit is giving you all the tools. It's just for you to trust your inner knowing and know that you're like, like you're already there. You don't have to worry as much. And you're like looking at this empty cup like, I don't want this. This is stupid, you know, like, but it's like, you literally have it all. It's so weird to like say it like that, but you literally have it all, group 4. You literally have it all. There's nothing that you don't have. And you keep trying to convince yourself there's something that you don't have so that you can ignore this Queen of Pentacles energy. But you literally are the Queen of Pentacles. You know, I literally say the Empress is the personification of the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles energy is not where you stop. You don't stop there. You go to Empress, you go to High Priestess, you know, you go to Strength, you go to full embodiment. So this is really understanding that I feel like it's funny because it just feels like the Empress is just the last layer for you to embody, which is the Empress is the physical. The Queen of Pentacles is the physical material layer. I feel like the emotional layer is there with the cups. The spiritual layer is there with the wands. The mental layer is there with the swords. Right now, you're just so afraid of the physical aspect of it all. It's so interesting. You're afraid of like the physical aspect of it all, and like fully embodying and being this thing, you know, this Queen of Pentacles, who you truly are. So it's definitely worth embodying. Because it's inevitable, for one. You're going to do it, and it's what you're already doing. But sitting here with this reading, this is just confirming that it's confirming your inner knowing, what you already know to be true. So it's really, really interesting energy. It's just like all you're doing is tweaking all these, like, everything is already there. All you're doing is taking, you know, you're tweaking things here and there, and boom, like everything is flourishing, and you just don't see it yet. Everything is flourishing, you just don't see it yet. And that's what's happening, you know. And it's because of these small seeds that you planted. It's because of the growing that you've done, the watering, the purging, the healing. Everything that you've been doing for yourself has been working, and you just don't see it yet. And this is what has brought us to this almost like eclipse moment with the Queen of Pentacles, where it's like, oh crap, like, should I throw everything away that I've already done because I don't see it? But really, this is embodying the energy of the Queen of Pentacles now, because you're not stopping. Like, you're embodying the Queen of Pentacles for Empress energy, you know. That's what you're doing. You're embodying for Empress. So it's a really beautiful energy. It's a huge energy too. It's magnificent, really. So let's get into your oracle cards and see what else they have to say about this embodying of this higher knowing in a physical sense. So the Archangel card we have is Comfort. Archangel Azrael with I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Yeah, exactly. opening up to more compassion of self. Also, like this little thing here looks like the world reeve. I've never like looked at it like that until I've seen it today. It looks like the world reeve, or like victory or triumph or something. It's really cool. It's like a signal of victory, of triumph, of true understanding. A really beautiful energy. And then the chakra card that we have for you this week is responsibility, of course. So we have, I plant myself on solid ground by consistently taking responsibility and having personal accountability for all that I do. I allow others to depend on me, being responsible. My actions speak louder than my words. I rise above excess and overindulgence as I forgive myself for my past indiscretions. I know I could not have acted in a more evolved way than I was able to at the time. So I feel like this is taking responsibility for your own forgiveness, and also like planting yourself on that solid ground of like knowing all the work that you've been doing and all the responsibility that you have been taking and standing firmly on that and backing it and enforcing it. This is not like, oh, I'll take responsibility but then not actually stand on it. This is finally having the courage to stand on it with this is your root chakra we're talking about here. This is your root. This is your I am presence. This is your true inner knowing. This is you knowing who you are as a being, as a powerful one at that. So this is knowing who you truly are and taking responsibility for who you truly are. And with that responsibility, we already know how the saying goes, right? With power comes great responsibility. That's exactly why I have the responsibility card. Because you're stepping into a really, really powerful energy, which is already present, which is already inevitable. It's just you're getting and integrating this through your humanness, through your human being. So it's really interesting. So your Dawn Bringer intuitive message that we have for you today is, stop being ashamed of your lack. It is okay to need, with the Five of Pentacles. Stop being ashamed of your lack. It is okay to need. And that makes so much sense with the Pentacles, with the Ten of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It makes so much sense because it's like there's this energy here of like, I don't want to need, I don't want to desire, I don't want to wait, I don't want, I want things to like I want things to line up for me in a way where, they don't seem tacky or desperate or whatever, but it's literally okay to own your desires. It's literally okay to own the fact that you need things in your life, and that's okay. Like, I feel like you're getting comfortable with the fact that you do need things, and that it's important for you to have these necessities provided because you're a queen, and a queen is always going to make sure she has everything that she needs emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically, and you're just now getting comfortable with the and physically part. That's what is happening. It's okay that there are things lacking in your life because you know that they're lacking, you know what you need. So this is definitely to understanding like what you need. Because like vibrationally it's already aligned, but truly you're just afraid of admitting it. You're afraid of waiting for it. You're afraid of it actually coming into your life because I keep hearing help us to the rescue or whatever. It's so funny, but like this is you understanding, when you step into your positioning as queen, as royalty, as who you feel yourself to truly be inside, you'll understand what your needs really are and how you can live optimally in this life, what will sustain you in this life. If that's your own space, if that is, quietness, so you're not interrupted while you're meditating, whatever it is, it's like it's a need, and that's safe. It's safe to need. It's safe to want things. It's safe to have desire. That is what you're doing. And then we have the Whispers of the Ocean card for you this week to work with all this energy. We have empower yourself, of course. Tune into your personal power. You're more than able to handle the situation facing you. Allow yourself to be strong, beautiful. Allow yourself to be the strong, beautiful person you are capable of being. Oh, wait, did you actually see the card? I'm sorry, I'm not looking. There you go. Really beautiful card. Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying. Exactly what, like, this is like same energy. Like, this is like same energy to me. Same energy to me for sure. It's really, really cool. Sorry for the car that you hear in the background, but ooh, this is such a good reading group for, because it's like you already know. You're already building a legacy. You already know what's going on. You already know what's happening, and this is all about it vibrationally aligning so you can figure it out. So, yeah. So, I'm going to wrap up this reading for you, Group 4. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Let me see if there's anything else going on. If it did not resonate, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You are not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. So thank you for coming through and sharing your energy with me. I hope you enjoy my energy and my vibe. And I, my friend, will see you next time. Bye-bye.